Good evening. You're watching and listening on another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
And my name's Az.
Good evening, gentlemen. It's a swivelling 5 tonight. It's going to be a big one. Tony Pulisic swivelling 5. He wants to be Ahmed Aghazi in that swivelling 5. No takers? Okay, anyway, no, probably the people don't get that. Welcome to the Scoutcast. We're going to talk about fantasy football. Surprise, surprise. There are 5 of us here. There's a wild card. How many wild cards active? Just you, Az, is that right? Okay, yeah. Okay, we got Jonty's wild cards to pick apart. That's why Granville's turned up, and we got wild card active from Az. Should be a good one. Jonty, what are we talking about? I guess it's all about City, isn't it?
Yeah, lots about City and a bit about Kane as well. Emergence of some more mid-price and cheap enablers in midfield as well. And also we're going to be looking at a bit of balance, a bit of flexibility. We're going to get yogic and also lots of wild cards, good, bad. And we've got a really bad,
I heard
ugly wild card. It's not your one, Mark. It's worse.
No, it's worse. Yeah, I know. It was. I heard a rumour of 11 points, but I can't quite believe it.
It is, and we'll go through it.
Okay, I've blown it there, haven't I? I've given it away already. Welcome back, Granville. You okay? How's the political life? All right? Not knocking on doors tonight, then?
No. I'm just basking in my victory.
Yeah. Well,
I've got the night off. Thank goodness. I've been posting letters, so thank you, letters.
Yeah, no, well done. Congratulations on your political climb. We won't go into detail on that. We will go into detail on the game week, though, which isn't bad. Shall we start at the top, though, before we get to rough with a smooth? And that is Andy. I mean, Andy and Jonty, absolutely flying. You've got to be. I mean, I was okay with my game. I thought it was pretty good. But you two, starting with Andy, 72. Got to be loving that, haven't you?
Absolutely loving it, yeah. Climbed from like 484k, I think, to 106k. Bought in Vardy, which said was just so obvious it was going to fail, and it did. But hopefully he can do the business over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I think I already had Jesus in place, so finally I have to get him 4 weeks ago and replace with Lukaku. He's starting to repay it. And then the other transfer was, I basically made the Vardy move on Friday night, and then straight away realised I didn't have enough money to get Silva, who was my preferred City player at that point, just because he was, most likely to carry on playing. And I saw Sané was about to rise in price. I let him rise, and so that just left me with a decision on Saturday morning about whether to bring in Sterling or not. And I made that choice to get rid of Mkhitaryan. I shouldn't see him doing much over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, bought in Sterling. So it's really just Sterling, the City boys. I think if you had 2 or 3 City players this week, you did well. If you didn't, you didn't really. Phil Jones getting points again. Eriksen as well. Really nice, getting a goal and 3 bonus. So yeah, it was a good week overall. Really big climb. 3rd in the mods and cons league as well, just ahead of Johnny.
That was a delightful happenstance. That was old Sterling coming in because you couldn't afford no Silver. That was. It was about 11.
It was like 11:20 a.m. move as well. I just he'd already scored 5 goals, and when I thought about that, he's just behind Aguero and Jesus or keeping par. I thought that's ridiculous for 7.9 million. I was a bit worried. I'm a bit worried about Burnley this week, so I don't see him blowing them away. But hoping he'd get the points against Stoke, and he obliged.
Yeah, well, it's funny though, isn't it? We went into the Stoke game going, "Oh, they did get a 0-0 last year." We all remember that because we triple captained. So I was like thinking, "Yeah, it'll be." I watched the Mark Hughes press conference. And he said, "Yeah, obviously the last couple of teams there have been beaten 5-0. That's not going to happen to us, obviously, but we're going to try and put up a fight." No, it's not going to be 5-0, Mark, is it? It's going to be 7-2. It was. I don't know. They could probably do it every week the way they're doing, but we'll talk about them a lot. Let's go to Jonty next, who's going to talk about them even more, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I am on my wildcard. I got 70. So yeah, that was my best game week rank of the season, and so I'm just on the edge of the top 100,000. So yeah, went up about 300,000. So yeah, wildcard success definitely. I mean, what I did is I went for a City attacking triple up. So I had Jesus and Silva already there. And the big issue for me was Coutinho or Sterling. In the end, I decided about Thursday, Friday to go for Sterling, which paid off really well. And I thought I'd dip into Liverpool in a bit when their fixtures improve. And it just went really well. And then I got Jones in off the bench for Davis. Who was injured, but yeah, I got Tom Carroll there. But I think there's a little fella nestling away in the bottom corner of my wildcards side. I don't know if you can spot him there, called Loftus Cheek. And
secret weapon.
He's a player.
Cheat.
Well, what I've tried to do with my wild card is I wanted to run away from players. So I based my wild card on it actually failing. So I wanted lots of players that if they didn't work out, I could run away from them. So with Silva and Sterling, they're quite a nice price. You can move down and you can trade up, and it's quite good. And the same with Jesus really as well. So he could become Morata. Vardy could become someone else. So it was a lot of that. But Loftus-Cheek pretty much is the only player I can't actually run away from. It is true.
You won't need to.
A few weeks ago, I can't run from. So
look at Palace.
Luckily, I think I can run from most of my wild card if it goes wrong. But unfortunately, I might be saddled with Ruben.
Well, you went with the 2-4-5s, which is what a lot of wildcarders did, including myself, back 3 weeks ago. And it makes it. I mean, did you think about you had Richie, didn't you? And so did you think about going cheap up front rather than Vardy? I guess that was the choice. Or
well, no, because if I go cheap, so for example, you got we'll come to your team, but you got a certain cheaper striker in. So if I'd have got the cheaper striker in and say he didn't do well and the price started to fall, and then Vardy scored a brace against West Brom, which is entirely possible, then suddenly I can't make that move up, but I can make the move down from Vardy quite happily. I may even get, Firmino just popped in a couple of goals tonight. Maybe it's time for Firmino again in a couple of game weeks. So, but basically, I can run away from Vardy there. But
so I mean, Vardy could be upgraded. That's
upgraded or downgraded. I think so. There. I mean, I have got this 3 City at the moment. I can see no reason not to have 3 City attackers. But I'm presuming there's going to come a point, either through injury, they're going to. I don't know. Maybe someone's going to suss them out. And then eventually one of them will go. But at the moment, I'm going to keep them. But and I decided to go for getting 5 nice defenders in who, once again, could be moved around. So I've got Jones, I've got Harry Maguire in, a player I like. He was tantalisingly close to 8 or 9 points against West Brom if it wasn't for Chadley being good once in the last couple of seasons. I've got Ward, Cedric, and, of course, Davis as well. So, yeah, all players.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him later on because that's an interesting. I mean, Davis is an interesting one for anyone who owns him, anyone who's thinking of buying him. It's an injury. I mean, the thing is, we're going to say this quite a lot tonight. Probably City aren't going to score 7 every week, but I'm not totally convinced sometimes when I say that. But I mean, it's not going to happen every week. I mean, what to come out of a wild card to back a team who gets 7 goals is fancy football stuff, isn't it? I mean, that is incredible return.
I think on their form though, it wasn't like Mystic Meg crystal ball gazing stuff. I mean, it was fairly evident they were going to do well, and especially because they got some good fixtures. And for me, I think I've picked the 3 right ones. I don't know. Aguero could have to say something about that though.
Yeah, I mean, Aguero is the joke in the pack really. We don't really know how it's going to work out. Didn't come on tonight again. Presumably he's going to play some part against Burnley, but we don't know what. We're probably going to talk about it later. Let's come to Granville. 52 took a hit. Who was the hit then, Granville?
Well, I got Kane, didn't I? I finally succumbed to him. So I needed to switch out Alonso, and that actually worked out okay. That was always there. I mean, I think you said it a couple of weeks ago. You'll always be looking at Alonso and his price and thinking each time he doesn't score or get an assist, then you're going to be, you're having a twitchy finger with him. And I finally succumbed to selling him. But I got Sterling. So I went Ward, Sterling and Kane in for Firmino, Alonso and Ali. And the reason, I mean, I just looked at Ali and I just thought he's just, at the minute, he's not really performing. He's not getting the goals that he was getting last season. And I just thought, well, I could swap him for Eriksen, but really I wanted Kane. But my real big mistake was captaining Kane because I switched that right at the last minute from Jesus. And I really do regret it. I think we all did it. And that's why I put on my tagline groupthink, because I wanted Kane, but I shouldn't have captained him. I think it was a big mistake, but there you go. I just wanted to pick up on Jonty's wildcard, just because it wouldn't be like me if I didn't criticise somebody.
No, absolutely, go for it.
And no, it's just that the fact that you got Loftus-Cheek after all the stick that he was giving you, Mark, over many weeks, he got Loftus-Cheek, which made me laugh.
I tried. I was on the site. I was pleading with people. I was saying, can anyone name me a better midfield who's.
I'd have gone for Atsu actually.
He's
But
5. He's not 4.5 though. It needed to be 4.5, and I had King from Leicester, who was very much rotation risk as it proved all week. That's how desperate it was. I was preferred to have someone who's not going to play at all. Well, actually, that is Loftus-Cheek, but just the way I thought about it, I just couldn't find another one. Yeah. And I looked at Palace's fixtures, and I just thought I'm probably not going to be playing him, if ever.
Right.
But I might do. No. And so
I guarantee you will be playing him in a few weeks' time.
I haven't played him once yet.
I know because
he
hasn't really figured. He got the injury and he's got ineligible, isn't he? But he's going to come into that Palace team. He was.
No, I think he's a good pick. Yeah, it's just I didn't understand what all the criticism was about.
He was an obvious.
No, it was just funny.
It was funny, but actually getting Vardy was, I think, the only strange one. I thought it was a good wild card you played that actually, and you showed Mark how to play a decent wild card.
2 Leicester players. I was surprised.
Yeah, I think
Maguire I like. I think it's Vardy. Out of all of the ones, the first one to go, if any of them, will be Vardy. And we'll come decisions, but game week 10, I haven't got any Liverpool, and I really want some Liverpool, and so I'm Vardy and someone else somehow to construct a Liverpool midfielder would probably be my move. But Vardy, I mean you can't get them all right. So, but I'm fairly happy though with the rest.
I think Granville, to be fair, the difference between Jonty's wildcard and mine was he backed City going into their game and they won 7-2, and I backed Liverpool after they beat Arsenal 4-0 and they drew 1-0 with Burnley. They had 34 shots, if you remember, and they drew 1-0. Didn't come off for me. I had Firmino, Salah, and Trent. Didn't come off. But City scored 7, so it's as simple as that, isn't it? It's you look at the fixtures and you play the wildcard and you back a team that you think is going to get a few goals. I back Liverpool.
It's also
the only goal they've conceded at Anfield.
But it's also about the formation where you're putting the money as well. We've said before you've used
the same formation as me.
No, I haven't. You went for a 3-3-3 formation. You deliberately tried to field 9 players. Because you had Terence Trent D'Arby.
Yeah, that's true. And also you got
whereas my Terence Trent D'Arby is someone like, say, Cedric or Maguire, who
he scored tonight. Don't mock Terence.
Yeah. So I've gone for Harry and Cedric, all the guys. None of that Terence Trent business.
I like how it's John's wildcard. We're projecting it back onto Mark's.
I'm not going to go over.
We played. I tell you what, we played exactly the same wildcards. That's the way we're going to. That's the story.
Yeah,
that's
but
the
narrative. Played it a long time.
The difference is it's a 1-0 with Burnley versus a 7-2 with Stoke. It came off. City are in the form. Well, I've not seen a team play like this in the Premier League. I don't even can remember. Even Liverpool with Suarez, when they were winning 3-4-0, and they were chaining that together. I still don't really believe what I was watching against Stoke. It was like. And even going forward, you look at it and go, they can do it again. So we've got a phenomenon here a little bit in that Pep is turning them into a team that we've never seen the likes of.
We saw it last year, though, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, not 5-0, 5-0, 3 consecutive home games. They didn't do that.
Not quite. No, not quite. But we were close. I mean, the beginning of the last 2 seasons I think all 3 of them out the last 4 seasons have started like on fire. I think they won the first 6 games last season. So I mean, and the thing is, it won't last forever. I mean, I'm sure they're going to do very well this season. Probably they'll be easily favourites for the league. But at the same time, as you said it earlier, they're not going to win 7-2 or 5-0 every week. It depends who they play. It depends how. I mean, I think Stoke actually went at City a little bit because they went. It was 3-2, wasn't it? It was 3-2, and then it looked like they could get a third. To make it 3-3, and City just just blew them away.
Yeah, it's just the options they've got, and they're sharing it out. They're literally playing to share the points out. It's incredible to watch. None of them are being selfish. They're all hoping they'll get goals.
I think
I'm thinking. Sorry. I'm thinking that next week, because I've only got 2 City attackers, that I need to get a third, just because I'm not sure whether Aguero or Jesus or even Sterling will start. Who knows? And so you need to have 3 City attackers just to be sure to get 1 or 2 of them out.
Yeah,
If you get what I mean.
Maybe that one.
Starting.
I mean, I was surprised at his team sheet tonight. It doesn't look like he's rotating as heavily as we expect, but Aguero is the one that could change everything because we've got to think he's going to play.
With Otamendi, Delph, and Stones in the back three, they're going to have to attack because I know they've kept a couple of clean sheets, but this is not a good back four, is it really? I mean, Walker's good, but he doesn't really play as a defender. So I just think they're just going to have to keep scoring because I think they're going to keep conceding.
I don't agree with that, Az, because if you look at statistically, they're by far the best defence in terms of shots faced, and no one's near them. And they only conceded to Stoke because you see the 2 goals against Stoke, more than a little fortunate. Teams just aren't getting near them. It is to do with the attackers. It's not necessarily to do with the defenders.
All right, but you wouldn't have any defenders because they're never going to get any bonus points, or they might get some clean sheets.
Well, I think we're gonna come to after we've gone through our teams. We've got some questions on City, and we're definitely coming to that because that's a big question to ask: is which 3, and do we include a defender in that? We'll come to that in a bit.
Okay, let's go to Az because 32.
Oh, can we not?
I mean, basically, it's your big back line, and the likes of Alonso, Kolasinac just didn't come in, and that's what you get, I guess, when you go for that goal.
It was a sad week for many reasons. I think one of the reasons was the wing backs let me down big time after doing so well, and the trouble was watching Kolasinac. Just he didn't do much. He just doesn't look like he's doing much going forward, and Arsenal look a shambles. Davies didn't play. Alonso just is too expensive for what he is, and as much as I want to carry on the wing-back tradition that I'm now famous, I'm not famous for it, but I like to think I'm famous for it. There just isn't enough options. You've only got Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs playing with the wing-backs consistently, and I just can't stick to it. And I think the balance is shifting more to the strikers now, with Morata back and Aguero back and these players. So I'm going 3 heavies up top, and I'm pulling my money out of the defence, but. Oh, it was a nightmare weekend. I mean, the Man U Liverpool game really killed me. I was really looking forward to it as well. I thought it was going to be a great game. Had Lukaku and Salah. I'd sold Jones for Otamendi. And then when that game finished 0-0, it ruined the week before it even started. And then I had no City attackers because I didn't want to lose Ali for Sterling because I thought he had Bournemouth, and I thought that's going to bite me if I sell him. And it just bit me not selling him. It was a very depressing week. I mean, the only positive I can take from it is I got Tom Carroll off the bench for 8 points, who was my highest scoring player. And at least the Leicester West Brom game finished 1-1, and Vardy didn't go mad because that.
It was unfortunate because the United. I mean, people. I benched Jones. I mean, Jonty benched Jones, and it's kind of you sold him. I mean, we looked at him and we all thought none of us didn't believe that it could be 0-0. We all knew what Mourinho was going to do, but I'm speaking with Jonty, but I looked at it and thought. Well, I've got Salah, and I think Liverpool. I hope Liverpool can get through it and score a goal, and it didn't happen. And it's not because I was naive and didn't realise that Mourinho was going to park the bus. Of course, I did, but I just thought, well,
Salah came so close as well.
Yeah,
such a shame.
They did dominate the game, but Lukaku had a good chance as well. Arguably should have scored. So it didn't set the game week off to a good start. I've got to say for many people. Obviously, Jonty, you're okay with it because you sold Lukaku, but then you had Jones on the bench, so it was kind of swings around about.
Gross and Carroll were my only 2 players who got any attacking returns or any points.
Well, Carroll's looked good this season, to be fair, but it was just a question of Swansea not scoring goals. As soon as Swansea start scoring, Carroll will pick up some points. So that was going to happen, but I should have played him as well, maybe. I don't know, but anyway. So my game week was I got 47, didn't I? Yeah, 51 with a hit. Yeah, I mean, I made some mistakes, but I've got to say my transfers were Sterling, Abraham, and Otamendi, and 2 of them came in. So in the end, it worked out. I got Otamendi in because I thought, well, that's a certain clean sheet. Didn't happen, but also because he's got Burnley, West Brom next, and it was like, I'm going to need a defender for game week 9, so let's get him in now and hope I get the 4 points back straight away. It didn't happen, but it's fair enough. They got 2 deflections. They were fortunate goals, but it happens. But I think Burnley, West Brom. I don't know what I'll do with Otamendi, but we're talking about him later on. But Burnley, West Brom, you've got to think City clean sheets might come in, but we'll see. Rough or the smooth, let's get on to this because this is an incredible wild card. Did they volunteer this, Jonty, or did we dig this out?
I believe that many other people volunteered him.
Right.
So this may be new to him that he's being broadcast. But he's called Peter Pichetta. He decided to wildcard. he had an okay side, and he decided to kind of shake it up a little bit. So he got rid of Firmino, Aguero, Fabregas, Atsu, Me, and Simpson. So he got rid of a lot of his kind of dregs and slightly out of form and injured ones. And the kinds of, so he ended up with a front line of Lukaku, Vardy, and Andy Carroll, and then Coutinho and Salah. So he went mad on Liverpool, and that's where a lot of his values tied up. You've got Hogg. I don't even know who Hogg is. Is that?
Yeah, Jonathan. He's starting now for Huddersfield.
Villa,
Is he? Is he? I mean, so yeah. Once again, I mean, Hogg will be like Terence Trent D'Arby. He'll be the player that I will mock forever now and say, who the hell is this guy? So he's a guy who got no points. And King, so he kept Andy King, the Leicester guy that doesn't start. You've got Azpilicueta, got an own goal. So when it goes bad, it really goes bad. And he had Sanchez in it, so he really went for Sanchez, and then he captained him. And then his vice captain moved from Sanchez to Andy Carroll.
Oh, that is amazing.
You can see what he's done here. Like he's had his.
It was what it was. It was the world, the universe, punishing him for an awful wildcard. It said, your wildcard's so bad, you've made absolutely pointless moves, and we're going to make it worse. So we're going to make sure Sanchez doesn't play. We're going to make you captain the guy that got -4. We're going to.
I've never heard of anything like that.
Why was it? He ended up with 11 points. He went from 7,000 in the world to 152.
Well, this is it. This is not someone
sailed past me and Andy.
he knew what he's doing, and I mean Sanchez.
Did he?
I don't think he did what he's doing.
To get 7K in the world above you guys, he must know what he's doing to get there.
On a wild card, you've got to get City players when they're playing at home to Stoke.
I mean,
got to. I mean, where's the logic in not getting any City players?
I mean, Mark, you should be delighted. This is a worse wildcard than your one. It's fantastic news.
Well, I see him get 11 points. I mean, I don't really see the logic of where he's going though with this.
It's an awful wildcard.
Downhill. That's where he's going.
That's where he's going.
Yeah, but it's not an unlucky wildcard. I think. Obviously Carroll and.
Well, it's unlucky with Sanchez, perhaps.
Yeah, he is, and unlucky that Davis didn't start. Martina, is he starting at the minute?
Yeah,
Martina and Hogg. So. They're two non-starters, aren't they?
No, Hogg started now. It is strange.
He didn't start the weekend.
It is strange. But yeah, I mean, I can't explain it because obviously he was 7K in the world. So to get there, he must have been making right decisions to this point. It's mystifying, but we can't really justify it. It's unfair to him really because he's not here to talk us through it. Perhaps he can get in touch because. Obviously, he's probably locked himself in a room now for the next 7 days until he comes out again at deadline on Friday. But yeah, I mean, he can get it back. He's 152 in the world. That's not a disaster. Yeah. And he's got Sanchez captain. You never know.
Better than most of us.
Exactly. So let's not dig him out too much. But it is some extraordinary choices there. Not going any City players is a bit bizarre. But there you go. Let's see. What else have we got here? Kings of Leon.
Well, just another rough because that one's so good. But just another one here. Kings of Leon. Got in touch. This is an example of hesitating, and so he decided to save his transfer. He didn't have any City. I'll just see how it goes. I'll ride it out. Well, it didn't work out that way. He got 35 points, and he relied on Kane captain, and he's got Sanchez, Ramsey, Lukaku, and Hernandez. They're okay. These are okay players, but it was just that hesitation really, and I guess that's an example. It's one of those weeks where if you hesitate, then.
Well, it's easy to do. I looked at it and thought, well, Firmino, you never know. And we're getting rid of quality players this season to change our teams up. It's not easy it's a lot like last season, but probably even more so where to actually progress, you've got to make some bold decisions sometimes and get rid of players that can hurt you. It's like I'm looking at Ali this week and going, well, should really get rid. But I could, I might sit still on them, I might not. It's a similar situation that Kings of Leon was at there. Those players all could have delivered. They're all quality, and they didn't. I mean, he's unlucky with Sanchez and Ramsey again, wasn't he? So it's difficult. Let's look at the smooth then. We've got some big scores.
Yeah, this is nice. I like this one. Blew all through. He took a -12 hit. So he cleared out Mkhitaryan, Salah, Firmino, and Morata, who's injured, and he brought in. Well, he went for it. He got Sterling, Sané, and Jesus, and Vardy as well. So Vardy let him down, but he worked it all out. I had a look at it as well. He's around 39 points net up. So that's pretty impressive. That's a good hit. Lusions, Koki Smurf, Bad Luck Jonathan, and Jamoosh, among others, that just did that same thing. They just loaded up, whether it was on a wild card or through hits on City attackers. And I like this one, just to find one. Doozer and Desperately Seeking Doozen. They had Duffy, and he got a slight injury, so he's not a major injury. There's enough for him to go off just before Brighton conceded. So he banked the clean sheet, and everyone else who had all other Brighton defenders didn't. So that's
I didn't spot that. Yeah, he's got a groin, hasn't he?
He has got a groin and an injury within it.
Yes, and Hulamai might play now, which is great because I love saying Hulamai, so that's good. Okay, let's talk about City then. Community questions. What we got here? There's loads on them, surely.
Well, yeah, Illusions again. Is a Man City defender a waste of a City spot after seeing them score 28 goals this season, I believe it is, and should we be tripling up on their attack? And Superman returns. Is Silva, Jesus, Aguero a viable Man City triple up? So not just that's quite an expensive front line he's looking at there. So yeah, I mean, one of the reasons they're talking about this is not just their form, but it's their fixtures as well. So I'll just before I go over to you, I'll just say what their fixtures are. They've got Burnley next at home, the West Brom away, Arsenal at home. Arsenal's form, that's actually a good fixture for City. Leicester away, another great fixture. Huddersfield away, brilliant. Southampton at home, West Ham at home, and then Manchester United away. So that's a tough one. That's first tough one, arguably. A sea of blue fixtures, or green with a number 2 or 1 next to it.
They should do well. I mean, let's go to Andy first. I mean, what's your views on this? I mean, 3 City attackers, are you going with that, or are you more reserved?
I'm probably not going to, but it's mainly because I just can't fit him in. And until we know that Aguero is going to keep starting again, then I don't want to really make that Kane to Aguero move, although the thought has crossed my mind. So I've got Jesus and Sterling. Yes, I would like Silva as well, but for my own team, it would mean getting rid of Eriksen and Salah, and I'm not really prepared to do that. Salah's a bit of an annoying one because I almost see this week as another blank coming up. So that'll be 3 in a row, but I'm just holding on to him because I think he's going to do well after that. Silva will probably do better, and he would free up a bit of money. I'm just going to hold on to Salah. But yeah, I think it's very hard to argue against City triplet. You're saying that they're not going to score 7 goals every game. They might not, but 4 or 5 looks pretty doable, to be honest. I do wonder about Burnley because they don't often get rolled over. I think I saw some stats Johnny posted that they've conceded like the most in the box, the most shots in the box or something like along those lines. But as a general rule, they don't concede. They don't get beaten 3-4, 5-0.
They haven't got Heaton anymore though.
Yeah, but I don't think Pope's the worst. Pope's
outperforming Heaton as I tell you. If you look at his stats, he's beaten him for minutes per save.
He made an error at the weekend, didn't he, for the West Ham goal?
Yeah, but he's doing well in fantasy terms. He's doing well.
Yeah, so I don't think Pope. Obviously, Heaton will be better, but I think Pope's doing okay. But if I was betting money, I wouldn't, bet against them putting 4 or 5 past. And the other thing is, it's just their prices as well. You're not really having to commit too much to bring them in. So I'm holding Eriksen and Salah. They're quite expensive. They're over 9 million. Eriksen, he's doing really well. There's no way I'm getting rid of him, but he is 9.7 million. So I could get Silva in and save myself like nearly 1.5. So. Yeah, I can't argue against it, to be honest. Why wouldn't you go triple up right now?
Yeah, okay, let's go to Granville. I mean, how's he feeling about City? I mean, it's against your very nature, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't really care, really. I do in terms of football, but fancy football, we play to get the points. I'm just looking through Burnley's away fixtures that they played so far. They won 3-2 at City. They drew with Liverpool, and they drew with Spurs away from home. Drew Liverpool away from home. So those are good results. So I understand what Andy's saying, but they just seem irresistible at the minute, City. And as I said before, I think I've got 2 City forwards, and I think I'm going to need a third. And so the choice is either to get rid of Kane 1 week after getting him, swap him from Aguero, or alternatively picking another City midfielder, which should probably be David Silva. But in that case, I'd have to lose Salah, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah.
So I am in favour of getting 3 City forwards. It's just which of those 2 players do I drop? it's tough.
So it's Aguero over Jesus for you, is it? You think that's the way it's going to turn out?
No. Oh, no. I'm keeping Jesus.
Right.
He's done me proud this season. I've had him since the start. I'm not going to get rid of him. I think he may not play all the minutes, but I think he's good value for the minutes that he does play. It's just, do I pair him up with Aguero and drop Kane? Because if Kane,
well.
I mean, I got Kane because he did so well in that game, the couple of away games, but I didn't expect him to do that well, and I still captained him this week. And I think again against Liverpool, maybe it'll be a different game because Liverpool will come to attack and they'll leave space, and that might be to Kane's advantage. And then Kane's got a few away games. Well, he's got United, hasn't he? So it's the fixtures aren't that great for Spurs. So it might be that I do go for Aguero. It's just whether he's going to start or not. That's the risk.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think we've got to see what he does with Aguero from this point on. It looked like they're going to play together, and it might be that again, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You look at it and think, you've got Salah, Sterling scoring goals, and they're still doing it. And so he doesn't have to play both strikers. And you've got to think, well, why would he do that if they're the only two strikers? They are the only two strikers he's got, really, out-and-out strikers. So why would you put both of them in every match?
I don't think it works that well neither, because you look at how they performed. They performed when it's either one of them, and it's normally Aguero who's performed well when they've both been on the field, and that's been to Jesus' detriment. He was a lot better when Aguero isn't on the field. So in some ways, I don't want Aguero to play, but I think he's going to come on at some point and score goals. Whether he starts or not.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm just waiting to. I think I might do Ali De Silva, but I might not. I mean, if I do Ali De Silva, it shuts me out from doing Aguero, unless I get rid of the City defenders. Let's talk about City defenders. For me, I mean, I kind of regret it now, but I look at it and go, well, I don't want Ben Davies at the moment. And I don't want Alonso at the moment. So where are we going for a premium defender? Is there one perhaps? Perhaps there isn't. Perhaps going with the 5 million defenders, and that's all you go with. But I look at City's defence, and it has done well, but it's just a question of do I need 3 attackers? I'm happy with Otamendi for now until I know what's happening with Aguero. So I don't think I'll get Silva because I think it'll lock that third slot in. But I may change my mind come Friday. We'll see. So I can do that easily. Ali De Silva is there. It'll pocket me a lot more money. I did plan quite literally to move to Alonso, but having watched them at Palace, I've got doubts about it. My plan was the only Chelsea player I wanted really was going to be Alonso, but not at the moment, not the way it's looking. So I'm thinking of not going Silva for now, maybe going Hazard for the weekend. But I'm going to keep Otamendi because I just think that he's always up there. He's had plenty. He's third for shots in defence, and I still think they've got some clean sheets. Burnley and West Brom, one of those would be a clean sheet, I think. So I'm okay with that. And Aguero is that's the X factor for me. I don't know how to treat the City attack until we know what's happening with Aguero. As what are you feeling? I mean, no City cover at all. Presumably you've got to do something about that, haven't you?
Well, I've wildcarded, so something has been done. Jesus and Sterling are locked in for me. I think they offer the nice balance of being explosive, but also being relatively safe in their current form. If you can call anything that Pep does safe, I just don't think he can drop them at the moment. The way they're playing, it's going to be Sané, who isn't the most at risk, and I'm not sure if Aguero is going to start at the weekend. My options are, like Granville said, I am tempted to go Kane to Aguero. I just wish that he'd got a few minutes tonight. I don't know why he'd be on the bench and not play. It just seems a weird.
It was the situation of the game. Situation of the game is where they were hanging on at the end, so he couldn't come on.
Didn't want to bring
They brought on Gundogan. Yeah,
and I thought maybe he'd get a few minutes at the weekend if he was fit, but they don't need to. I don't know. It's very strange. I think with the City assets, you've got the explosive players, and then you've got the more drip scoring players. So I class Silva as one of those. I can't see a 15-point return from him. at the moment. And De Bruyne as well. He's playing deeper. He's making some absolutely killer passes. Playing, best player in the league at the moment. But as a fantasy asset, I'm still not completely convinced on him. So to me, that leaves Sterling, Jesus, Aguero, who I would personally consider. If I go for Otamendi, I know I said that their defence I'm not too keen on. I'm still a little bit unsure. I know they're keeping the ball so well. I just don't trust Otamendi and Stones. I just don't think they're particularly good. And I think with Delph as well, I think there could be teams that get at them. So, and I don't want to be locked in. If I got Otamendi, if I want to get a third attacker, it's not as easy. I don't know. I'm probably just going to stick with two for now, which are going to be Jesus and Sterling. But there's potential that I'll go Kane to Aguero if Pep's conference unveils any information.
We're losing Kane here. A lot of people giving up on Kane. It's difficult. This is what I said earlier, Jonty, about we're getting rid of players that can hurt us. So it's difficult not to be hesitant. Presumably you're going to sit on the ones you've got, no changes required.
No, I've got Sterling, Silva, Jesus, and sticking there. But part of the reasons I've got those three are, especially in Sterling and Silva's case, I just think they're really, really good value for what they are. So if you look at the kind of players that you would have in those slots, like Salah, for example, Coutinho, Ali, Ericsson, they're all about $1 million, or in some cases $1.5 million more. And De Bruyne as well is getting on for $2 million more. So I think they offer lots and lots of points for not a lot of money. And Jesus as well, he's in that really nice price bracket as well. I wouldn't say Aguero is overpriced at all. He's not. Just Jesus is very well priced, and I think get him in while you can. I've had the advantage on the wild card is lots of people getting them in, so I managed to get all of those quite cheap. So getting Sterling for 7-9, etc. Those, and I was having a look at the top players. So people don't like words coverage and things, and they shouldn't. But when you look at Man City, they're the team that defies coverage, because pretty much any of their attackers that you get will get you points. It doesn't even matter if they don't start. They're going to come on in the last 20 minutes. They will still get you points. And that's why I quite like it, really. When I look at the team sheet, I'm not really worried. Say Sterling isn't there or Jesus isn't there, because if they come on in 70 minutes, I know they can rack up 10, 15 points, because that's how good City are. Top 12 scoring players in the Fantasy Premier League at the moment. 5 of them are City attackers. That's unprecedented. The nearest you get is 3 United players, and 2 of them are defenders. So it's just 1 United attacker, Lukaku, amongst that top 12 there. That's pretty incredible, really. So the 2 questions are, should you triple up on their attack? Yes, they're all good. And which ones should you get? Well, it depends on your team and value. Obviously, I think De Bruyne, I think you get similar returns fantasy-wise from Silva with De Bruyne, so you save yourself $2 million there. I think Aguero, Jesus, Silva, and Sterling, pick 3 of them.
Yeah, but I do think Aguero is going to be the one we're going to go to eventually. Because before his injury, he was looking creative as well as getting the goals, of course. But it's just going to be so interesting how he gets him back in the team and what he does, whether it disrupts things. The other thing, we're going on to the next question, and it's very pertinent to say this at this point before we go on to talking about ditching Kane. We're in a week where Kane and Lukaku have just blanked and City have scored 7. So that is, the emotions are quite raw from that. That is quite, it's very unique circumstances. We're not going to get many game weeks where Lukaku and Kane blank, first of all, both of them, or many game weeks, of course, where City score 7. So we've got to be careful, because obviously the stats you reeled out there, John T, are on the back of the fact they've won 5-0, 5-0, 7-2. Surely that can't continue. And also
6-0.
And surely that can't continue. And also, we're not going to get many game weeks, I don't think, where Kane and Lukaku both blank, where it hurts so much if you don't have City, because you've got one of those two. So it was a very unique game week in that respect. So let's talk about Kane now with that in mind, because a couple of you already mentioned this about getting rid of Kane, and there's a lot of questions on this as well, isn't it, John?
Yeah, so Team Cruel asks, is Kane really essential, most expensive player in the game, but he keeps blanking in plum fixtures? Yes, he does. What's the matter? 12.8 striker, can't score at home to listen to this, Swansea, Burnley and Bournemouth. I mean, that's poor. Is he really required in our teams? A front line of Lukaku, Morata, and a City striker provide better balance to the team, better value, better captaincy options. and they can easily cover Kane. And the Wizard of Ozil. Do we need Harry Kane when it seems like there's much better value as well? So similar theme there. And the rumour mill also points out that Morata is looking like a key pick as well, and he's much cheaper. He's getting on for nearly 3 million cheaper. He's certainly 2.5 cheaper. So here it is. Here's the stats. Away from home, Kane is incredible. 6 goals, no assists, 9 bonus, 40 points. Wow, you want him in your side. And then you get him in and you captain him for one of these great games against Bournemouth. And what happens? Nothing. No goals at home. Nothing. No assists at home. No bonus at home. 7 points. That's absolutely rubbish, especially when you're relying on this 12.8 lump of great away goals. And it's so annoying because I've captained him and so many other people have. And last season he did this as well. Oh, look, I'll get him in for Burnley at home. That looks great. White Hart Lane, what a fortress. Absolutely rubbish. He did nothing. He's a horrible troll. I hate him.
But he is doing what Lukaku is accused of doing very often. I just find it's very difficult because, yeah, we're coming off a game week where he's done it again. Yes, he's the Swansea, Burnley, Bournemouth. But like you say, Jonty, he has done this before. This is not unknown from him. He has done this in home games where he's meant to score goals. He hasn't delivered before. The issue I've got is I still worry that he still, for me, is the most devastating fantasy asset there is. When he delivers, he will deliver big. It's not like I can understand you not going Lukaku, because I think you'll look at that and go, well, he'll probably only get 6 points, maybe get bonus for 9. He might get a brace, but United probably will shut up shop, that kind of thing. With Kane, that's different. Like if you're going without Kane, you know that he can get a hat trick like in a blink of an eye. Like he should have had more than one hat trick this season already. He's hit the post 5 times for Christ's sake as well. So I think it's a very difficult decision, this one. Lukaku, I can see, like I could get rid of Lukaku, I'd worry about it. Andy's got rid of Lukaku, he's worried about it. But I think Kane is a level up on the fear factor. That's the thing. So it's a very difficult decision. I'm not doing it. I'm keeping him for the Liverpool game for sure. United, that's a good opportunity. This is the perfect window because you look at that fixture and go, United away, I can get rid of Kane for that. But it would be just like him, wouldn't it, to deliver in that game? So I'm going to give it one more week and see what he does at home to Liverpool because it is getting ridiculous. This Wembley form, I've heard theories, but you can't explain it. Statistically, we've rolled them all out before. Most shots on target and all that kind of stuff at home. But he's not delivered the points and you can't deny that. But let's see for me, I'm going to wait and see again. I'm going to take the risk of doing what Kings of Leon did and sitting still on him, but I'm going to do that because I just think he's too powerful an asset to just get rid of, and he could really hurt us if we do that. So that's my view. Let's go to Andy first. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I think the beauty of the situation we're in right now is Morata's probably just coming back from injury. Most people who have Kane probably already got Lukaku anyway, so I think you can maybe hold on for this week. I think it was Granville or someone mentioned in the previous week that he's not doing well at home because teams are sitting back and they can't break him down. But I don't think that's going to happen with Liverpool. Liverpool are going to want to attack just as much as Spurs are. So I think if he gets a goal in this game, then maybe we'll be happy to keep him. If he blanks against Liverpool, I think Man United is a blank. I just don't see a brace there. I know how good he is, but again, you're up against one of the best defences in the league. Mourinho is going to park the bus again. And as soon as you lose the confidence in captaining him at home, that's basically where his good fixtures are now. The other away game, okay, I know he does well in North London derbies, but it is Arsenal, so who knows what's going to happen there. I just think if you're not willing to captain him in those easy home games, then what's he there for? And I look at my team this week, and if I'm still, rightly or wrongly, I'm still not sure about captaining a Man City player in case they miss out. So I don't really have a good captain option this week unless I captain Kane. So I am looking at Morata. I just worry about getting him straight back from injury, and it would free up a lot of money. I don't really have a need for that money right now. I don't really see where I'd spend it. But I might just do it anyway and bank the money and just risk going without Kane. It is a big risk, but maybe it'll pay off. And I don't know. The problem is, as soon as he scores a brace against Liverpool, I'm going to want him back. But like you said, I have got that buffer of the Man United game where I figure that I won't get punished in that game. So maybe I then hold off and I keep saying it. I've got the wild card still, so I can always use that to get him back. So I am pretty tempted to get rid of him, I'll be honest. He just lost that captaincy factor for me. I was a bit like Granville. I looked at Captain Jesus this week, took it off. Looking at Captain Man City again this week. So Kane's not even really in my thoughts for captaincy now, and that can't be a good thing.
No, you're absolutely right. The captaincy is key. Like if we have a player like Kane or even Lukaku, Aguero, Jesus at 10-5 is fine, Morata at 10-5 is fine. But when you start going to 11 and 12, they've got to be your captain. They've got to be in the mix. They've got to be, because that's the only way you can justify spending that amount. And we've got to have confidence in Kane at home. I totally agree with that. And I think after the Liverpool game, if we still don't see it, I just can't explain. The problem I've got is I can't explain it.
Yeah,
and,
there's no good reason for it.
Nothing on paper explains why it's not working at home for Spurs. I mean, I know big pitch, teams defending, blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about the second best team in England, managed by one of the best young managers in the world, probably. And Harry Kane being what? Is he not the best centre forward in the world at the moment? Centre forward, in terms of old-fashioned centre forward, he's probably up there. So those three things, I don't really understand why they're not combining to break teams down and score goals. It doesn't really make sense. For me, I keep thinking it's only a matter of time, but then how long do we give it? Az, what do you feel about this? You're wildcarding. Are you going Kane?
He's in at the moment. I'm not sure. I think the issues are like what we've said. The fixtures are just terrible. The next 4 games, I just can't see him doing particularly. He's got the Crystal Palace game. Now, the good thing about having him for that Palace game is that Chelsea have United and City have Arsenal. So if you're thinking about captaincy, you're either going to bank on City to roll over Arsenal, or you're going to go for Kane in the top game. I mean, like Granville says, I can personally see City rolling over Arsenal, but can Kane do well in that game? It's really difficult. I'm considering going with no Spurs players because I think we're going to come on to Davies in a bit. I think his time might be running out. I think one of the main reasons why a lot of people are going to keep Kane is going to be for fear. Fear of his ownership, more than the actual prospects of him getting a lot of points over the next 4 games. And if you think about the strikers who you could get sort of over him, Morata, Jesus, Aguero, Lukaku, you've got 4 quality options there. And to me, Kane is at the bottom of those of that pile over the next 4, over those 5. So all it tells me that I want to drop him, and the fact that I haven't been brave for the last few weeks and it's cost me points tells me maybe I should go for it. But it's easier for me on a wild card, and I'm going to make sure I have a plan to get him back, just in case. So I can drop a City midfielder, someone cheaper, or drop an expensive defender, or just have some kind of plan to get him back for that Palace game, if he does show something over the next 2 against United and Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think Jesus at the moment is probably fair enough. You can say he's going to, but if you throw Aguero in there, I think Jesus changes a bit. It's like Granville said earlier. They kind of alternated home and away for playing out wide and supporting one another. So I think Aguero, that's the player that I would look at to get rid of Kane. If I was getting rid of Kane, I could do it to Aguero because I think, he could keep pace. Morata, still not. I know he got the hat-trick at Stoke, but I'm still not convinced by Chelsea at the moment. They still worry me a bit. And
he's the number 1 on my wild card.
Is he really?
Yeah.
You're confident in him?
I am. Yeah, I think his fixtures are just so good, and they miss him. They really miss him when they're back, and they've got Hazard, kind of back and looking sharp again. They've got Watford at home, and they've got Bournemouth. I just think there's goals in those 2 games, and that's going to get Chelsea going again, and then I think they're going to kick on from there.
Yeah, I'm yet to see. I mean, the Stoke game obviously was hugely impressive and scored a fantastic hat-trick. But I just want to see Hazard and Morata together. We've been robbed of that, really. I think that could be, both of them could be solutions again. But I'm a little bit more cautious than saying Morata's in the same bracket as Kane for the next 4. I want to see well, we've got to see him fit, of course. We've got to see him play, make sure he's fit. And we've got to see, I think I want to see him with Hazard. Watford's a good test for that, so that'd be good. Granville, coming to you. I mean, you've just got Kane back in. So presumably you've got a hold now, haven't you?
It's really a really odd situation now, and I do regret getting him back in, of course, because everyone, I think, on the podcast has had him from the start of the season, and you've been through all the lows of owning Kane and some of the highs, and now I've just experienced just one low. I don't know what to do really, because I haven't trusted him for most of the season. It's only after that game against West Ham that I think he's a must to have. He looked exceptional. But then again, it's always that nagging feeling about those Wembley games. I am actually also considering, because I did say Aguero before and triple up on City, but I am considering Morata. I think Chelsea have thrown in some odd performances this season, but the one against Palace, which was a bit of a turn-up, was without Morata, and I think they were a different side with him in it. And that game against Stoke just showed, what quality he's got. Because I know you did mention a couple of weeks ago that you never expect Morata to explode, but he did do in that game. And then he's got his injuries. So I think it'd be interesting. I'm going to wait to see, because he'll be playing tomorrow night, won't he, in the Champions League?
That's the talk, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see, how much of the game he gets and whether he's sharp or not, and then I might make a decision on what to do with Kane. I should really
see him with Hazard as well.
Sorry.
It'd be good to see him with Hazard as well, because I don't think they've played together yet.
No.
I mean, they had the 35 minutes against City, wasn't it? Or did they even get that? No. Yeah, they did.
It was about that.
Yeah.
Did they? Okay, yeah. So it'd be good to see. It'd be good to see that. I'm still hanging on to Lukaku, whilst a lot of people have already got rid of him, or at least a couple on this podcast have. I'm going to hang on to him. I guess that's a bit of blind loyalty, but I just think that he's going to score goals. Even if he's not. He did have a good chance actually against Liverpool. He should have scored. I think I'm going to hang on to him. I've got quite a lot of value tied up in him as well now. So I think if anyone goes, it would be Kane after having him for 1 week. I'm just not sure whether this is a week to do it when they're playing Liverpool at home, when Liverpool are going to attack him. I think he might break his duck this weekend, and I'll regret it if I sell him.
Okay, we're coming to you, John T. I mean, you just played your wild card, so presumably you don't plan to get Kane out. I mean, I guess looking at your wild card, Jesus to Morata was probably the move you were planning on doing next.
Yeah, well, I'm now thinking. I mean, I'm with Andy. You've got to think about captaincy. So the move I'm considering definitely is the same one he is. And one of the reasons I'm in the same boat about looking at Morata there is because, like Andy, I have Eriksen and Davis as well. So my feeling is that, say Spurs go wild with goals and Kane scores lots, I'm going to get some assists there. And Eriksen does really well. In fact, I would say at the moment, definitely in terms of fantasy points, Eriksen's actually a better fantasy player than Kane at the moment. At least he can score against Bournemouth at Wembley, unlike Kane. But one thing, so it's a fear factor. So we're not worried about Manchester United in a couple of weeks, but we are worried about Liverpool. So I had a little look at and actually Klopp and Liverpool have a really good record against Spurs. And in fact, he has a really good record about keeping it tight. So it's a bit of a myth, really, that Liverpool are going to go there, all guns blazing, Ozzy Ardiles suddenly becoming manager, 10 strikers suddenly all blazing at them. It's not that way. So when he joined, if you remember when Klopp joined back in October 2015, one of his first matches, I think maybe the first one, 0-0 White Hart Lane, they just battered each other right in the middle and nothing happened. And then there were 2 1-all draws. So no one really got the better there. And then Liverpool beat them at Anfield in February last season and in the League Cup. Once again, not huge results there. So Klopp and Liverpool have a record of getting the best out of those matches against Spurs. So, and also according to the expected goal analysis that we've got in the members area, they're actually the second most underperforming side. Away, Stoke are the first. Both have played City, and I wonder if those dire City results are slight kind of outliers, have kind of skewed it a bit. Because basically what it's saying is that Liverpool and Stoke really shouldn't be conceding the amount of goals they have away, but they have one of the reasons I think they're playing a City game. But the other one is we haven't really seen them play Spurs yet. So as we said, we've got a good record. Also, Liverpool keep it tight against top sides. This is from Awesome O. So more stats here. So Arsenal 3-4. Liverpool won that last time. So Arsenal got 3 against them. The rest of them, Spurs against Liverpool, 1-1. As we said, Chelsea against Liverpool. Liverpool won that 2-1. They beat Everton. Well, Everton, because it's a derby, I've included that in there. So beat them 1-0. Manchester United 1-0. Man City 1-0. It's all pointing to 1-0 at Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is
that we're talking about, that doesn't give me a lot of fear about getting rid of Kane, personally.
The other thing is that both of them will have played away in the Champions League. So leggy, both teams. You know, are we going to see, you know, they're going to get tired after 60
Liverpool have had a bit of a stroll tonight.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will be fine.
Well, it's still the journey. You know what I mean? It's still the journey and it's coming back and all that. It's still a fact. I mean, certainly Spurs will be tired, I imagine. But they were playing quite a decent team, I hear. So it's it's a tough call. It really is. And I can see the logic totally.
Yeah, the other thing with him is it's a bit like Aguero last year when he basically said he had a poor season, but he still turned up with 20 goals. I look at Kane and he's blanked 5 out of 8 games, and yet he's only 5 points off the top of the strikers' total points. And then you look at game weeks 11 to 17, and there's just no way. Yeah, I look at them and I just think, how does Harry Kane not score goals in every single one of those fixtures? So the Kane to Morata would be so ballsy, but I just
can't. That's not what you want from your captain, is it? You don't want a blank one week and massive points the next.
Yeah. But all he has to do is score against Liverpool, and I'll have the captain on him against Crystal Palace. Game week 11 is tough captaincy call. I know you're saying Man City are going to do well against Arsenal. They might do, but I still don't think I'd want to captain someone in that game.
It's that Palace game, isn't it? If they didn't have that,
exactly.
If they had a tough, even an average home game, you can't go. But that is the easiest, pretty much as easy as it gets.
But just 5 points off the top, and he's been poor essentially. Like it's not going to take much to get to the top. Do you know what I mean?
Should be top though, shouldn't he? He should be top.
Yeah, of course
he should be top. He's the most expensive player in the game by a stretch. 12.8 compared to the next striker is 11.5, 11.8 now. Lukaku. It should be 10 points ahead of anyone else.
I mean, so far on current evidence, you want to be captaining Kane for an easy away game. The next one of them is game week 14.
Yeah,
coming up to game week 9. This is another factor. So that's Leicester away, and then he got Watford away. So I'll be wanting Kane for that. Yeah. Would I want him against West Brom at home? Well, West Brom are going to bring. I mean, they say he struggles to bring down get the better of a defence. Well, West Brom are going to bring the biggest bus they know possible to Wembley, and arguably Crystal Palace will as well, because we all thought Bournemouth were going to just ride on there in scooters, but they brought a massive coach with them. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the problem with Kane.
The thing is, I would say about this is that it's all very well teams coming up and parking the bus, but as soon as if Spurs scored only an early goal, it all opens up. They haven't done it yet, but I can't believe, like I said earlier, that the combination of Kane, Pochettino and Spurs, and we know how good they are, played well tonight in Madrid, can't beat Crystal Palace and West Brom at home by a big margin.
Do you
be able to.
Do you think Llorente might get that Palace game? We're not confident
in it, are we? Sorry, what's that?
Do you think Llorente might get that Palace game?
Possibly, yeah.
It's sandwiched in between some tough games for Spurs.
It is.
And giving Llorente that, I mean, he's a good striker and he needs minutes. Seems like quite a good time to play him.
Well, there's no way he'll get it if Kane doesn't score against Liverpool, because they need Kane to score at Wembley desperately. So I don't know. I mean, I think Kane deserves one more week, but he's getting a bit. If Aguero comes back at the weekend and starts and looks like he's going to be the central striker again with Jesus in support, perhaps with Sterling or Salah, then the case to move to Aguero is very strong. I wouldn't mind moving to Aguero. I'm not confident moving to Morata. I still worry about it's not Morata, it's just Chelsea as a whole, as an attacking team. I don't think that's a big upgrade. I mean, even Spurs at home, Chelsea haven't been convincing at home. They got the Stoke result, but you take that out and they haven't been great. And so, which is why Alonso struggled. But Hazard hasn't been there, so we've got to see that. But so for me, I'm holding on for one more week. But it's going to be an interesting Scoutcast next week when we come off the back of the game week 9 results, because I think there'll be more Kane talk then. Let's do Zaha and cheap mids, Jonty, shall we?
Yeah, so Trevor's, he's talking about, do we think that 4-3-3 is done and dusted? Because we've got an array of mid-price midfielders, and a certain Wilfried Zaha has joined the likes of Richarlison and Gross as well. And Tom the Wise said, is Zaha the real deal? Great value at 6.7. Is he really 6.7? That is great value. I didn't even know he'd sunk that low. Yes. Well, immediately I'm going to say, yes, he is. Palace have good fixtures over the long run, and he passed the eye test on Saturday, said, or was it too early? Brendan Walsh, Zaha's great fixtures, scored the match-winning goal, but got no bonus. Is this a worry? So he's eagle-eyed there on the bonus points, yes. And BCDC 1875 really rolls off the tongue, that name. Stoke have a cracking run of fixtures, so he's wondering if we should be looking at perhaps some of the Stoke midfielders who are kindly priced. And just a couple more Kloppers. He mentions that Lanzini is now back, and should we be looking at him? And FPL Freddy mentions Richarlison again, and obviously points out the value of players like that to our midfield, and could even a 5-man midfield be on its way?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a shift back to midfield. I think that is mainly caused by suddenly the doubts we've got in defence, because I mean, as you were talking about it earlier, the wing backs are failing all of a sudden. I mean, Alonso's the key player there. Ben Davies is the key player there. Those two, suddenly there's doubts about those two. So then you start looking at, well, I've got to get money out of defence, and obviously you can go big in attack, but you start moving back to 3-4-3, don't we? I mean, what are you doing with the wild card? Is that the way you're going? Presumably that is. And any of these players, Richarlison, Choupo-Moting, are they tempting you?
Yeah, so I've got 2 in my current draft because I'm going for the 3 heavies up top. I need to make sacrifices sort of everywhere else. And one option is to go really cheap at the back and just have 5, Phil Jones as my highest priced defender, and then a load of 4.5s, sort of rotate them. That's a possibility. Or it's to get 2 midfielders who I think are going to provide really good value over the next few weeks, which are Gross, amazingly, who I only had in at the start because I'm a Brighton fan and I really wanted a player. Watching them against Everton, I thought he was outstanding in that game. He looks sharp, and he's always in the thick of things, and he's so central to everything Brighton do. So I'm not saying they're going to score loads of goals, but they're starting to get players sort of firing us. And Knockout got his first goal. Hemed's coming back from his ban soon. So, and they're starting to look a bit like they're adjusting to the Premier League. And I think that the last minute goal they conceded to Everton was a real kicker, and for Andy, who lost his Sutton clean sheet in the last minute. So Gross and Morata, they're the first 2 names on my wildcard team, as I sort of work out which City players I want and other things. I'm also a massive fan of Richarlison, sort of playing out of position, just looks so electric and sharp. He's got a tough game against Chelsea next, but then he's got a lovely run of fixtures. He's escaped the ban now for diving, and yeah, I think Watford are going to do well under Silva, and he's going to be sort of the chief person to do it. So I've got Richarlison and Gross at the moment. I feel quite good about it.
Andy, I mean, Richarlison all rounder, I imagine here. Surely, I mean, are you looking at him as well?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I could do with Kane to Morata money. Actually, is upgrade Atsu to Richarlison. I think out of those kind of price midfielders, he's
getting rid of Atsu, Andy.
I know it's been so good, but after the next 3 fixtures, the fixtures get tough for Newcastle. But yeah, Richarlison's really the one I would look at. I think the key to these players is not to rotate them too much, because I saw people on Twitter that have already had like 3 of these 5 to 6 million midfielders in 8 game weeks, and they're just switching them out as soon as they don't get scores. And for their price, they don't need to be scoring every week. So to get the oddest, like Az has got Gross, I've got Atsu, and every couple of weeks they chip in with an assist, and that's really all you need for someone that's priced like 6 million or less. So I mean that's the key for him. I mean Zaha looks good. I'd be a bit wary at Palace that suddenly they have one great game and then they're back. I'm not sure about that. I'd like to see him a bit more first. Choupo-Moting, again, he seems to be the one at Stoke. Maybe Shaqiri, but I'm just not sure I trust Stoke either. So as boring as it sounds, I would be looking at Richarlison from next week. I think with Watford's fixtures, he's young, Brazilian. What's not to like, really?
Brazilian, he must be good.
Exactly.
Except for the diving, that's what's not to like.
But from fantasy view, that's extra points.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it wasn't a dive because
30 points.
The FA have said it's not a dive. It's not a dive. So that's it. That's done. Done and
They've
dusted.
done their job thoroughly.
Granville, who are you looking at here? I mean, Zaha. You've not been a fan of Zaha in the past, I don't think, have you?
No.
So you're not trusting him. I take it. Anyone else?
I guess I have to look at Richarlison because he's getting in the points. But I've got a midfield, Salah and Sterling, and I've got 3 cheapos who are Loftus-Cheek never plays. Atsu, I play most weeks. Choupo-Moting, and he's thrown in an assist, but he hasn't really delivered for me. But no, I'm not interested in Zaha. I'm not interested in Palace players at all. I don't know where that comes from at the minute. I know it's just one good week. And he's really erratic. I remember last season, he does get the odd hole, but and he's probably Palace's best player to get. But I just don't think you need to get any Palace right at the minute.
I'm not sure he's worth 2.2 over Loftus-Cheek.
No, especially with Roy there. I mean, I just don't think they're going to be an attacking force. So, I don't know, not for me.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, they do have the fixture. This is the time where, I mean, they've got that victory against Chelsea just at the right moment. Confidence boosted going into this run. So this is the spell they're going to have, which is their best spell. They're not going to have Benteke for most of it by the look of it. He'll be
probably
4 weeks off. Yeah, and this is what's interesting. Zaha's playing up front.
Yeah,
I think he can he could even have a run of points and goals, which means he stays there even when Benteke's fit, because Benteke was pretty poor, to say the very least, before he got injured. So, and I think Loftus-Cheek is going to play behind him. Townsend will move out wide. You can see he did that at the weekend. He played Townsend and Zaha up front. I think Loftus-Cheek comes back in as the support behind Zaha. Yeah. So those two.
So we've got the coverage, haven't we? I mean, I'm not going to play Loftus-Cheek, but he's always there to come off the bench if I ever need him to.
I think you will be playing Loftus-Cheek in the fixtures that you see coming up, because I think that they will get some goals. And Palace have been unlucky. You look at the expected goals; they've been unlucky not to get 5 or 6 goals before now. One of the reasons they haven't is Benteke's not been converting them. Maybe Zaha can. I don't know. We'll see. He is erratic, though. I mean, Jonty, you know about him as a Brighton fan. He obviously had that evening at the Amex, which you probably want to forget. But
destroyed our dreams.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen him live, and he's a phenomenal player at his best. Yeah. That's what convinces me he could be an option.
I mean, it's classic thing. You're looking at form, fixtures, and value. Basically, at the moment, Zaha has a little bit of form. He's certainly got the fixtures, as you said. He's got game week 11 trip to Tottenham, and that's basically it, right the way up till January, 1st of January. So it's an amazing run against. And is he valued? Well, I've already said I didn't even know he was 6.7. Yes, he is. Richarlison has got good fixtures off Chelsea. Got Stoke at home, Everton away, West Ham at home, Newcastle away. These are good short run of fixtures. Then he got a couple of dodgy ones as well. So the moment Zaha's edging it for me there. And then looking at the kind of underlying stats, really, Richarlison's the one who is slightly overperforming in terms of he's got 3 goals, but he is getting a lot of his shots in the box. So he's right in the place you want him to. And as we saw, he's a naughty player as well. So he might actually fall over without anyone touching him, but that might win a penalty, so he might get an assist. So that's great, and that's fantastic. So that's the kind of fancy player you want, really. In real life, absolutely appalling, but but Zaha appears to be underperforming because he's actually doing quite well in the limited time he's had at the start of the season before he got injured, and against Chelsea. He actually could have scored a bit more. So that's quite intriguing. I'm looking at both of them too. It's one of those two, but unfortunately, there's going to have to be some kind of injury or loss of form to one of David Silva or Sterling to make room for them. Because as good as Zaha and Richarlison are, they're no Sterling or Silva.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about when we talked about the City midfield. At the moment, it's very easy to say, yeah, we have 3 Man City attackers. We have Aguero or Jesus, Silva and Sterling. We're saying that now, when Hazard hasn't really hit form yet, and we haven't seen Sanchez at all, and Coutinho, okay, we got Salah's in there as well, who's had a couple of blanks in a row. So it goes back to what I said earlier. The circumstance of game week 8, in isolation, it all looks pretty simple. You load up on City, but it only takes like Salah to get a couple of goals, for Hazard to hit form, for example, and Richarlison or one of those players, and suddenly you start looking at Silva and Sterling and go, can I get rid of one of those two? So you're absolutely right now, but it could change because we're talking about good players here. Richarlison, for me, I mean, and we didn't even mention Ali and Eriksen, who, you know, a lot of people will be getting rid of one of those two. I know you're going to keep Eriksen, but Ali's being sold by a lot. He can certainly start scoring points as well. So at the moment, it looks simple, but it might not be simple in a couple of weeks. It might be that we've got more choice. It probably will be. Right now, City win it hands down, don't they? There's no choice. But Carlson, for me, is really, I really want him, but I guess the route would be Ali to Richarlison and then go Abraham out for Aguero would be what I can do. But it's difficult. Again, it's a tough decision because can Richarlison keep pace with what he's doing? He has looked very impressive so far. He certainly is performing above the level of his price, 6.2. So for me, I think he's a bargain. Zaha as well, I'm really tempted by because I do think he's going to carry on playing up front. But then do I end up playing Loftus-Cheek and Zaha? Surely that's going to make me a laughing stock around these parts. So it's a tough one.
Can I?
Yeah, Graham.
Can I throw in another name?
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, on this list, Ashley Young, because he's played the last 4 games for United, and I think Mourinho has trusted him, and he's playing. He is considered a midfielder at 4.9 million. He might be one to consider, as bench fodder maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in that bracket, there's you got Decore. And obviously you've got the Loftus-Cheek and Cowell in there as well. But Young, I mean, the thing is with Young, he's been playing left back until the Liverpool game. He played further forward in that game, didn't he? When he plays, he does. I mean, his service is still good, isn't it? He can still do a job. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we're not shy about using up our United slots in the same way we would be our City. So you'd want Jones and Lukaku possibly, but at the moment, you're not going Mkhitaryan and Pogba's. I mean, Pogba's the other player as well. I mentioned, he could come back and that.
Of course.
Yeah. So I mean, the landscape is. This is what the feature of this season so far is. There hasn't been a template, has there? There really hasn't. I don't think we're 8 weeks in, and every 2 or 3 weeks it's changing again. And at the moment, the template is 3 City, 1 of Lukaku and Kane, possibly Morata. But in a couple of weeks. There are so many good players on the periphery at the moment who haven't yet to fire that it can change again. It's possibly even more interesting than last season, which was very similar.
It was all about the defence.
Yeah, exactly. It was all about the defence 2 weeks ago, and it's bizarre. Like we played. I mean, I played wild card to get Firmino. It was all about Firmino for a couple of weeks. Then he went off the boil. He was on penalties. Then he's not on penalties. It's the landscape's shifted so quickly, so markedly week to week. So
I can't work out if it's really fun or just incredibly stressful.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm with you on this. It's like I'm kind of enjoying it, but in
a close to a breakdown.
Yeah. I do feel like 1 game week away from a breakdown. I like that game week I've just had. That was good enough to keep me sane.
You should have seen me Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine. It's horrible.
The thing is, like you said, there's so many options. You're going to get I said to Az on Twitter over the weekend, you're going to have these ups and downs. Like I've had poor game weeks, and now this has been a good one. It could easily change next week. There's so many because there is no template. It's always going to happen because not all those players are going to perform once, and you're always going to have a week where you don't have all the ones you need. I looked at I'm at 106k. It's almost as many points to get to 1k as it is to fall back to 1 million. It's like 49 to. I'm only 49 ahead of 1 million, and I'm only 55 behind 1k.
Yeah.
So the points differences just aren't that much at the moment. From 1 million to 1k is 100 points, which, considering a lot of those players at the top have played chips and stuff, it's not that big a deal, I don't think. So you're going to have as long as there's no template, there's always going to be a roller coaster. Once a template forms, it's a bit different, I think. But right now,
exactly. We've seen it settle down. Do you think it's going to settle down, Andy? Do you see a template cropping up?
I mean, there's always going to be key players that are in because of fixtures or because of form, and everyone, or seemingly everyone in the community is going to have them, even though that's not always strictly true. But I don't see where a template comes from if all the players stay injury free. Like, there's so many strikers to choose from. Like, we're not all talking about getting rid of Kane. Only a couple of us are out of 5. Morata. So straight away there, not all of us. I mean, chances of us going through with that is probably quite slim. But if we do, then straight away, then not all of us are Kane, and he'd usually be a template player. So yes, a template will probably form, especially around double game weeks and stuff like that. And as players get injured, then it happens. But why there's this much choice, I don't see why it is. And I've been quite patient to keep players like Salah and Eriksen while other people have been moving them around. So it's just different ways to play this year. I mean, like Az had an awful week, but you're only like 10 points behind me. Like, it's still super close. All it takes is a good week next week, and it all changes again.
It wasn't quite as big a rank drop as I thought either. I went from 98 to 250. 250k.
Because the points totals are just so close together. I mean, you've got to remember as well, there's over 5 million players now. I think I saw there's still like 4 million of them are active. So there's a lot of tough competition. Like, being 1 million right now is probably the same as being like, I don't know, 200k or 300k last year or something like that. So
I actually saw there was a huge swings though this week. You know, because some people got in the 30s. I mean, obviously someone's got 11 points, but I've got 30. And there's people in our league who got close to 100. So that is quite, and that's probably symptomatic of there not being a template, that, you know, there are wildly different teams and scoring wildly different points. The one thing that hasn't been mentioned, and I'm surprised that John T hasn't mentioned it, was it's game week 8.
Yeah,
Yet.
Well, game week 8
not once.
It's got supernatural qualities, and we all know about those amazing game week 8 scores of the past. But last year, game week 8 for me was horrible, and it started a three game week run where I got just over 20 points each week.
Yeah,
and I fell dramatically, and it took ages to recover when you get 3 of those in a row. But one or two is okay. But yeah, so game week 8 is super, and I've had my best game week of the season. It's weird. Game week 8.
We always get a big score, don't we?
I never get an average. Never get something average. It's either wow or horrible.
It's the week after the internationals. Yeah. It throws up strange results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dusan Tadic hasn't turned up for a while, has he? Never mind. Let's do the weekend preview, shall we? This is going to be tough, actually. Clean sheets with 5 of us. The Swiveling 5. Let's do it. Clean sheets and Fancy Island Risk. We'll go to you first, Granville. Clean sheet.
Let's have a look. Do you think Burnley going to? Yeah, I think Burnley are going to score. Let's have a look. I haven't looked at this. I'm going to go. I think West Ham are going to get a clean sheet on Friday at home to Brighton.
Ooh, okay.
Well, they've done all right, you know,
yeah,
West Ham.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that's my clean sheet.
Okay, I'll come to you next then, John T, because you're going to respond to that. Brighton not going to score, surely not.
I think that could be 0-0. Brighton are, they always go there for a draw, 0-0 draw. So, anything's a bonus. Well, I mean, for me, I only think there's one, nothing guaranteed, but one certain clean sheet, and that's Manchester United away to Huddersfield. I think Huddersfield attack has gone. I think they've scored, was it 1 goal in the last 4, something like that?
Yeah, I think there's no big chances in 5 as well.
I've got 7 clean sheets in 8. I looked at the fixtures and I was looking at our scout squad selections, and genuinely Manchester United is the only clean sheet I can see this week.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's difficult, that's for sure. Andy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it is pretty difficult. I will back Man City, I think, versus Burnley. I don't. Burnley have been okay this season, but I don't think they got that much in attack. And City are going to see so much of the ball over that game. It's going to be hard for Burnley to get forward. So Man City for me.
Yeah, this is tough. I'll go to you. I'll go last, Az, but I can't really say. Go on.
I'll take Swansea at home to Leicester, just because Leicester have sacked Shakespeare, who I thought was rubbish anyway, but now it seems they've brought in an even worse. Well, they've got even worse assistant caretaker manager, and I think Swansea are looking fairly decent at the back. And I like Clement. I think he's got them well drilled and organised, and I think Leicester in a bit of disarray. So, I mean, I think it's a tough week for clean sheets, which is one of the reasons why I wildcarded, because I think a lot of it's going to be like this a lot of weeks now. The clean sheets are going to dry up. I think the balance is shifting. Which is why I've taken so much money out of my defence. So yeah, I think Swansea has good a chance as any.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. When I looked at last week when I was building my team and making the free transfer, that's why I had to get Otamendi, because I thought, what am I going to do defensively for this game week? Because it looks so tough for clean sheets. United, City, and I'm going to go Southampton and West Brom would be the teams I would pick out. Southampton West Brom looks like a 0-0. I would say without Chadley's bit of brilliance, I think Leicester would have been 0-0 as well. So I'll go for that one. It could be a clean sheet for one or both in that game. I think
can't have both teams, though, can you?
No, so I'll go Southampton, because the reason I go Southampton is because I fancy Island Risk, because I'm really at a loss for fancy Island Risk. I'm going to go back to Gabbiadini for that, because obviously he's a player we know who scores in streaks, got his 2 goals. So I'll go Southampton for the clean sheet, and Gabbiadini is my fancy Island Risk. Granville, have you got a risk in mind?
Oh, God. Come back to me in a minute.
I'll come back to you. Jonty, what have you got up your sleeve?
Just before I do it, I just wanted to do a quick fun fact about Michael Appleton, who is taking charge of Leicester against Swansea. He has managed a Premier League game. He did it when Roberto Di Matteo got sacked at West Brom. He took over for a game against West Ham. He was flying 3-0 up and then ended 3-0. So going to be some goals. I've got to say, it's a very small sample. It's of one game in 2011, but nevertheless, let's take it. But yeah, it's my fancy Island Risk. I've already mentioned him, Wilfried Zaha. He is looking good. He could score more, and he's off to Newcastle.
Yeah, it's just a shame you got Newcastle, because they're quite stubborn. But it's I like it. I'm playing Ruben in that game. I think they'll get a goal. But yeah, that's a good one. Andy, your fancy Island Risk?
Yeah, unless Pogba comes back soon, I think this might be Man United's last chance to score for 3 game weeks. So I'm going to back Juan Mata on penalties. It should be in the side. I think we're going to score against Huddersfield. I'm just not so sure about Spurs and Chelsea the next weeks after. So Juan Mata for me.
Yeah, he's coming back into the team. Surely he's got to.
I hope so.
Yeah, and then like you say, he should be on pens when he plays. As your fancy Island Risk?
Well, seeing as I've sold all my wing backs now, I might as well pick a wing back, because they're probably going to score. And actually, the only wing back who I was kind of considering, but I'm probably not going to get, is Bellerin for Arsenal. Because I looked at him compared to Kolasinac. I mean, I can only go by kind of the games I've seen. I haven't looked at the stats. But I just think Bellerin sees much more of the ball in an attacking area. He looks much more dangerous than Kolasinac does. And I don't know whether that's because Sanchez, was out, last week, or what's going on. But he looks like he's got something about him, and he's owned by 10%, 5.9 million. They've got Everton and Swansea next. He's a consideration. It's just a shame they're so bad. Yeah,
it's the Arsenal letting us down. Really, we need in a regular fantasy season, we need teams like Arsenal and Chelsea to be on it, and neither of them are at the moment. That's not helping. Bellerin, though, stats-wise, he is outperforming Kolasinac, I think, last time I looked. So that's not a bad pick. Yeah, fair enough. Come back to you then, Granville, for your fancy Island Risk. You've had long enough.
No, I've got him. He's Mama Biram Diouf, who scored actually at the Etihad this week, and he's had 6 attempts in the last 2 game weeks. So I think he's got a chance, and Stoke have a relatively easy fixture at home to Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's a good game there. You got to think Trevor Motin will do well in that as well. He's got to be back for that. Not a differential, perhaps. I think everyone's getting on him at the moment. But yeah, good pick there, Diouf. He has done well. I don't know if he's going to play right wing back, or I know the Stoke fans are calling for him to play up front. So
yes, he's been playing up front, hasn't
he? Yeah, but not convincing. So
no, and he was taken off. I think he was taken off at half time, wasn't he?
He was. So that could be interesting. Now let's do captains and transfers, shall we? Go to you first, Andy, because I'm really interested in what you're going to do.
I'm interested in what I'm going to do as well, if anyone's got any ideas. I could save this week. I mean, Dave, we didn't chat about him in the end, but he's now a problem. The problem I have with him is I don't have a clue who to bring in right now, because I kind of figure I want someone around the same price just to keep the structure there, but I'm not too interested in Man City defenders, so it's tough for me to pick anyone there, really. Maybe a Chelsea defender if I can afford it. So I'm either looking... Kane to Morata is just not going to happen, I don't think, for me. So I'm probably going to save and just leave my team as it is. I'm getting pretty close, I think, to having to wildcard, because my bench has fallen in price. I don't really want any of them to come on. Sutton nearly got me my clean sheet, but he just didn't get it in the end. So I'm close enough to a wildcard, I think, but I can put off a couple more weeks with Elliott with 3 good fixtures. So I'm probably going to save. And captain-wise, I don't think I'm going to put it on Kane. So it's Sterling or Jesus. Yeah. The problem is, like I said earlier, I don't see City turning Burnley over. I don't really have a better option. I'm not convinced by Vardy. Salah's got Tottenham. So it's one of those two. And Sterling came off, I think, as was saying, around the 70th minute. which kind of gives me a bit of hope that he's going to start. I think if Aguero comes back, it'll be Sané that misses out. So I'm actually tempted to captain Sterling this week. Although I will say Jesus, and I think it's the last 5 or 6 game weeks that he's played, he hasn't blanked. He's got attacking returns every time. So he's probably the consistent one. But Sterling's got 6 goals. So, yeah, it's on Sterling right now.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, Az, where are you going? Wildcard active, so don't worry about transfers because we'll be here all night. But captain?
Yeah, just quickly on transfer. I've taken 11 players out, 15. So I've decided surgery was big time needed. I couldn't even tell you who they're going to be at the moment because I'm not totally sure myself. Just Morata and Gross are the only ones who I definitely have come Friday. Captain, it's going to be a City player. Sterling or Jesus.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I'm leaning towards Sterling, but I mean, he got taken off a bit earlier than everyone else today. I think he's being saved. He's being saved for Burnley, and he just looks so sharp. So yeah.
I mean, I've got him. I think he will start against Burnley. It's just my worry is because City are sharing the points, they're not going to. If in a 2-3-0 win, that's not going to be shared amongst 5 or 6 players, is it? It's going to be shared amongst a couple. So every now and then, one of those 3 or 4 players is going to miss out, and that's the concern because anyone can get points in that team at the moment. So it's difficult.
Just the options.
Back in Sterling, how did we get here? This is crazy. We've all got him. We're all making him captain. Is that going to happen?
It's just the options, isn't it? Like, I don't trust Kane at Wembley, and I look at the rest of my team, and Morata maybe, but
I think captain and Sterling. And yes, it could all go wrong. We've all been here before. I think it's just playing this season. Kane is just not doing it at home. Sterling's got the same amount of goals as Aguero and Jesus. So he looks good. He looks like he's going to be in the team. He's good under Pep. He's getting into the right positions.
Yeah, that's what I think.
You're back in form there. There's not really a lot.
Everything points to it being logical. It's just surprising.
It is surprising
that we've got to this point where the logic suggests Sterling. Because 3 or 4 weeks ago, we'd never see this. I mean, Sterling wasn't even nailed on. Now he looks a certain starter based on the fact that he started the last 5 he's been available for, and he's scored 6 goals, scored tonight as well. And everything you're saying is right. It's just I just need to check myself that we're saying what we're saying. It's bizarre. Jonty, what are you up to?
One question quickly. I just wondered because we've briefly touched on Davies.
Yeah.
I just kind of wondered if you think Rose coming back is going to massively impact him, or whether you think he's safe for a few more weeks, because he's not in my wildcard team, and I love him. I think he's one of the when he plays, he's one of the best. He's the best defender to own. But I just can't risk him with Rose now on the bench against Madrid. It just worries me too much.
Well, in my view, is he's not going to massively impact, but if he plays 1 game in 4 or 1 game in 5, that's probably enough. Because look at it and go, well, what's the game that Rose is going to play coming up for Spurs? It'll be the Palace game, and that's the one you want Davis in. So you don't want Davis, Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, where you could do if he gets goals and assists, but fixture-wise, that's the risk. That you'll look at the 5 fixtures that are coming up, and it'll be the easy ones that Rose plays. That'll be the concern. Jonty, what are you doing with Davis? I mean,
with Davis, I'm keeping for now, just seeing what happens. I mean, as you see, because I've just wildcarded, so I've got 5 good defenders. So if he doesn't play, I get someone else in, so it's not too bothered. I mean, in a way, his absence got me 7 points from Jones this week. So, and I know lots of people when he was absent before, they got lots of points as well off the bench. So I'm not too bothered. See how it goes. If he gets benched a lot, then obviously he goes. But
I just don't think he's going to get benched a lot, and that could be worse, because if he gets benched a lot, it's easy, get rid. But if he gets benched 1 in 5, it's like, well, he's doing enough to kick, so that's where it's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Granville, what are you saying on Davis? You got a view on this?
Since when has Spurs at home to Palace been the easy game? For I gotta say, no. I think what are we talking about? We're talking about Davis now.
Yeah, is he? I mean, are we buying? We're not buying him, probably. Are we keeping him? That's the thing.
No, I'm keeping him. I mean, obviously Rose is a risk. He didn't play at the weekend because he was reportedly ill. I think at the minute, just stick with him. I can't think who would want to change him for, to be honest with you. Whether I want to actually spend a transfer on a defender right now. No, I want to spend my transfers up front and load up on another City player probably.
No, I agree. I mean,
or possibly Chelsea.
The problem we've got is there aren't defenders we want to go to, because Alonso and we don't want a City defender perhaps. So it's it's really difficult. John, to your transfers.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll echo the thoughts of my fellow loaded up with City comrades here. I think currently, if I keep Kane, I'm not going to captain him, and it's going to be one of Sterling or Jesus, because they're two of my best players. The best captain this week is a player I don't have, and that's Lukaku. Lukaku is by far the obvious dullard captaincy choice. Of course, he's away to Huddersfield. It's just, I think he will score. I think you're guaranteed at least 6 points, 7 points from him. I don't have him. So it's always, I knew it was going to be tricky, this one. So I think one of my City ones, but if Morata impresses midweek, then I'm going to be up for a big decision of dumping Kane for Morata. Because the benefit of dumping Kane this week is the following week I won't want him back because he's at Manchester United.
Yeah.
And that's a big kind of, and also I have Eriksen as well. I mean, to be honest, if I'm looking at Spurs at the moment as a good fixture, I should be captaining Eriksen, not Kane. But yeah, really tricky. I think because it's so tricky, I think a lot of people have this. If in doubt, kind of do nothing and just hope for the best. And then I can go into game week 10 with 2 free transfers, and I can take my pick of some of those Liverpool players. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I come to you, Granville. I guess you're going Lukaku, aren't you, on the basis of what Jonty just said as well?
What captain?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm going to Jesus.
Right.
I think even Sterling. I think I'm just going to have to back City. I think they're just in such good form. Yeah, United have got that fairly easy game against Huddersfield. I just think City at home. City in the minute have to be the one to be back. So no, I'm not going to capture Lukaku.
And transfers?
I don't think. Well, the transfers I mentioned before, either Kane to Aguero or Salah to Silva.
Big players coming out everywhere. Okay, well, I'm going to Lukaku captain. Jonty says it all. I mean, it's a dullard route, but it's pretty safe. I think it's a bank 6 points. I don't know about Sterling and for captain. I think it's a victory. Getting 15 points on Sterling the first week I get him, I'm consolidating that because he has been consistent though. So maybe I'm wrong, but I worry about City a little bit still until we see Aguero back in, and I want to see a pattern. Then I'll be more settled. But he is such a factor, Aguero, that I'm a little bit worried about who comes in and out, who gets minutes, and Burnley, of course. So I'll go Lukaku. Transfers, I'll probably bank. I mean, I could go Ali to Silva. That's obvious, I think. But I want to leave the door open for Aguero for the following game week. And if I get Silva now, then I can't do that. I'm also looking ahead to game week 10, and that's a very difficult captaincy as well. Okay, if you've got Liverpool, Salah, I guess, at home to Huddersfield will be the way I go. But it's still quite tough, that, because Salah's been hot and cold as well, wasted a lot of chances. So it's a tough old season, it really is. And as can testify on this game week, it'll be another one of us next game week, I'm sure. Every week, one of us has a bit of a miserable time. It's just the way it is. We've got to get used to it. It might settle down. We might get a template. Every season, John, we moan about having a template and making it too predictable. This season, we haven't got one. I don't feel nice, though, does it, really?
No, I don't moan about a template. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't. But it's okay this season. It's okay at the moment because everyone's scoring well. The problem I had, particularly last season, was everyone wasn't scoring well. And if you pick the wrong horse, then yeah, it's not good. But yeah, at the moment it's great. There's so many players scoring, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's very easy to pick the wrong horse, as I'm sure we're going to talk about next week. Thanks so much for joining us, gentlemen. Another fantastic Scoutcast. Thanks so much to the listener, and we'll see you next week. It's a good night from me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.